Okay, so if you've talked to sovereign citizens online about right to travel, eventually they will bring up the definition of motor vehicle used in Title 18 USC. And it's a very common myth among the sovereign citizen community. It has been brought up in the comment sections of my channel so many times I can't. This is just a small collection of how many people have brought it up. Now, to start off with, they're half right. Title 18 does define the term motor vehicle as a vehicle that is used for commercial purposes. Now, from there, the sovereign citizen will argue, well, I don't use my car for commerce, so I'm not driving a motor vehicle, so I don't need a driver's license. Now, the first and most obvious problem with that argument is that Title 18, Section 31 clearly states that the definitions listed in Section 31 only apply to Chapter 2 of Title 18. In other words, they do not apply to any other chapters, which would mean that that definition does not apply to the law that requires you to get a driver's license. Now, we could probably end the discussion right here, but it might be helpful to go more in depth into the problems with this argument. Title 18, as Wikipedia unfortunately describes, is the section of the United States codes that deals with federal crimes and criminal procedures. This Title 18 only deals with federal crimes. To explain why that is important, let's look at Title 18, Section 33, which deals with, quote, destruction of motor vehicles or motor vehicle facilities. And it reads, whoever willfully with intent to endanger the safety of any person on board or anyone who he believes will board the same, or with a reckless disregard for the safety of human life, damages, disables, destroys, tampers with, or places or causes to be placed any explosive or other destructive substance in, upon, or in proximity to any motor vehicle, and this is the important part, which is used, operated, or employed in interstate commerce or its cargo or materials, or intended to be used in connection with its operation. And we skip to the bottom, shall be fined or imprisoned not more than 20 years. Now, what's important here is that if you notice, Title 18, Section 33 only makes it a crime, a federal crime, to blow up a vehicle, a car, or a truck if it is employed in interstate commerce. Now, the question here is, why can't the federal government make it illegal for you to blow up any car ever? Why isn't it a federal crime for you to blow up a minivan that a mom uses to take her kids to school? And the answer to that question is in the United States Constitution. The federal government has limited powers. It only has those powers which the Constitution gives to it. And one of those powers is listed in Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3. The power to regulate commerce with foreign nations, and this is the important part, among the several states. Under the federal Constitution, the federal government only has a power to regulate commerce among the states. And that is why Title 18 can only make it a crime to blow up, for example, trucks that are engaged in interstate commerce. They cannot apply it to every single car because they do not have the power to regulate non-commercial vehicles. Now, unfortunately for sovereign citizens, that restriction to only regulate commerce does not apply to states. Under the 10th Amendment, all other powers that are not given to the federal government remain with the states. So, unfortunately for sovereign citizens, the states can regulate non-commercial vehicles and non-commercial use of the roads. Now, this is what's known as police power, which is defined in Nolo's Plain English Law Dictionary as the fundamental right of a government to make all necessary laws. In the United States, state police power comes from the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. States are thus granted the power to establish and enforce laws protecting the welfare, safety, and health of the public. Driver's license requirements promote safety and keep you healthy. you're less likely to get into a car accident because everybody is required to pass medical exams and driver's exams before getting on the road. Now, this is why, unlike 18 USC, all 50 states do not define motor vehicles as commercial vehicles. Since we were talking about Indiana, we're just going to use Indiana as an example. The definition of motor vehicle in Indiana is motor vehicle means, except as otherwise provided, a vehicle that is self-propelled. That is it. It is as vague as possible to include as many possible vehicles as possible. That would be gasoline cars, diesel cars, electric cars, as many as possible. 4 wheels, 3 wheels, 2 wheels, all of it. Indiana and the other 49 states do not have to limit the definition of motor vehicle to vehicles that are used in commerce because there is nothing restricting them from only regulating commercial vehicles. Each of the 50 states has a power to regulate vehicles that are commercial and non commercial.